Today's episode is brought to you by Mazars.
SoundCartel.
As Franklin Roosevelt said, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. And he was right. Passing through fear is an enormous challenge, but at times it's the only way to get to the other side. From SoundCartel, I'm Nicole Goodman, and this is Business Essentials Daily. What are you frightened of? Do you avoid things because they scare you? Do you only do what's comfortable and convenient? Fear can hold us back and distract us from our work. It can derail our goals and push us in the wrong direction, but only if you let it. According to Dr. Amy Silver, we need to change our relationship with fear. By controlling our fears, we can communicate better, build ideas, make decisions, and take the path to success. Amy is a psychologist, trainer, and author of The Loudest Guest: How to Change and Control Your Relationship with Fear. First, a definition. Chris Ashmore asks Amy, what is fear exactly, and what does it do to us?
It's a very primal reaction that happens in our brain. It's a triggering of a system that's designed to protect us. So in very biological sense, what fear is this system of activation that gives us this heightened experience that makes us realize that we need to fight or flight or freeze in order to keep ourselves safe in this particular situation. But we have attached this word fear to that system because we don't particularly like that system being activated. It feels not particularly nice. But that system is the same system that is activated when we do something that's exciting or something that's out of the norm. So when we label it as fear, that's something that signals to us a story around something bad is about to happen. And we can very easily get caught in that belief that something bad is going to happen. And then when we do, we start to really tune into, well, what are the risks here? What is this fear voice telling me that I should do? What is it warning me against? And how do I protect myself? And then we get into this stage where we really don't feel like we have any option other than to fight, flight, or freeze. And so we experience that sort of heightened sense in our body that's kind of telling our system to send extra blood to the extremities, our hands and our feet, and to pull attention away from the clever part of our brain so that we can really just react in the same way that we did with saber-toothed tigers on the savannas. Except now we don't need that level of fear to be activated for us in order for us to make decisions. And what can happen when we really tune into that fear voice is that we listen to that fear voice rather than listening to that part of us that wants something for us, wants something for our future. Because short term, what fear wants for us is to save us, that's what it's saying, is save yourself. But long term, that might not be the best way for us to move forward with our lives. So I think it's a complicated question, but essentially what fear is an activation of a system that we then interpret as being something bad is about to happen.
Well, how then can you control your fear? And can fear be a source of good?
So I think that we can control fear. It's kind of like, the idea of we all know how to ride we don't all know how to ride a bike, but if you know how to ride a bike and then you don't ride a bike for a very long time, that first ride is not the ride that you go on the freeway with and you just kind of, you do something really sort of pushing you into, you work yourself up slowly. And that's possibly the kind of overarching sort of message for fear management is that we need to approach it, as in we can't avoid it. We need to approach fear. So it's not going to be comfortable, but we want to do it in this stepped way where each little step is no more scary than the next one. And it's not so scary that it pulls us back into retreat and or attack, but it keeps that movement going forward. There is a lot of fear that we use to push us into higher performance. So we don't want to fail. We don't want to look stupid. We don't want to be left behind. We don't want to miss out. And all of those things give us a level of fear when we're close to that. And I think if we change our relationship with fear enough to realize, wow, there are times where fear really serves me. You know, I get the best out of me, or I get the best out of my team when we are frightened of something, because that's the times that we pull together. That's the times that we challenge ourselves to come up with new ideas, or we are motivated to not fail. And so that kind of pushes us into this high success place. So there are huge benefits to fear if we understand how to use it.
Mazars is an international audit, tax and advisory firm committed to helping clients confidently build and grow their businesses. Experience a new perspective with Mazars. Visit mazars.com.au. That's mazars.com.au.
Dealing with one's own fear is one thing, but as a boss, how do you manage your own staff's fear?
Yeah, so there's a lot of fear around, and I think one of the things that we can all do for each other is pull on a little bit of compassion, because we have been through this same event. We are all in this same space. This is a global event, but the experiences that we've had through it really vary. And so I think one of the keys is to stay curious to how people have been, and to enable people to share some of what they've been experiencing wherever you can, and that might just be with a quick kind of hello in the tea room, or it might actually be having a coffee together, or a walk together, or in a meeting, just making space for people to reflect on what this crazy period has been like, or what it feels like now, or how tired people are, or how burnt out. We know that the people's work hours have gone all over the place. So just being free and curious to what people have been going through, I think, is a really, really useful step.
Do you have any fears? And if you do, how do you deal with your own fears?
I have lots of fears. And I have somehow given myself the story, which I really believe now, that my fears are signposts for my growth. So when I feel a fear around something, or I notice that my reaction is to pull away or to defend, I use that as a bit of a flag for me to assess, what's that about? Like there's obviously some sort of risk that I've spotted there. And do I want to challenge my fear on this? Because I guess I don't want to ever feel like I'm constricted by my fears. I want to feel like I'm in control of myself. And sometimes my fears are right, and what I want to do, what my fears are telling me is really worthy of listening to. So it's not that I'm constantly sort of pushing past my fears regardless of where they are. It's just that I'm really tuned into, that's an interesting place of discomfort that I might want to explore. What are the benefits? What are the costs? I played soccer the other night. I play soccer now. So that was completely driven because my initial reaction when I took my 8-year-old sign up for him, my initial reaction when one of the parents said, there's a over whatever, I don't know what we're supposed to be, but we're very old, a team. And I was like, I've never played soccer. I don't really know whether I want to do it. And I guess my initial reaction was no, don't look like you're interested in joining a soccer team. And then that was a bit of a flag for me. And I was like, okay, what's that about? And it was the fear of looking stupid, or the fear of failing, or the fear of not being good enough, or the fear of letting people down, or the fear of whatever it was. And I just thought, none of those seem like good enough fears to stop me doing something that I might really enjoy. And 2 years later, I still really enjoy it, and I'm still as frightened. But, I get all these benefits of joy of being with a team and playing a sport and the kids get, to see their mum doing something that's scary, and I think that's good. So I think, what I know is to be true is that I will never be fearless. I will always have fears, and I will learn to evaluate them well enough so that I can decide, do they serve me or do they not?
That was psychologist, trainer and author Dr. Amy Silver. Business Essentials Daily is a SoundCartel podcast. Executive producer is Heather Dawson. Producers are Nick Schilberger, Chris Ashmore and myself. Technical production by Pete Letts and Belinda Trimboli. I'm Nicole Goodman. Thanks for listening. We'll bring you more Be Daily next week. SoundCartel. This episode was brought to you by Mazars. To find out more, visit mazars.com.au. That's mazars.com.au.